Mark Twain once stated, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and the lightning bug. And in today's world of ministry, we've been given so many advantages as ministers. We have learned how to properly and effectively communicate. We have learned how to just to be the most effective leader and to make sure that what we say is heard and know how to properly do it. We know how to look people in the eye. We know how to lean in the right way. We know how to elevate our voice. We know what to say and how to say it. But my question is this. In essence of everything that we've learned in the light of communication, have we forgotten the most important thing? And that's the message. You see, because the key part of the communication is the message. If we know how to say things properly, but yet we don't say it, in essence, we're really saying nothing. You see, if we look you in the eye and we do all of that, but our message is void, then we're just speaking words. So I want to challenge you as a minister to know this, that the key element of your communication, regardless of what you have been taught, is the message. The message overrides everything. And you see, we need to look no farther than the Bible to know this truth. In Exodus chapter 3, the Bible tells the story of Moses and how that God told Moses to go before Pharaoh. And Moses' first question was, God, why me? I stuttered. See, Moses wasn't a good communicator, but yet God chose him. And when we look back at all the greatness of communications and the skills that we've attained, but when we look back at it, it would have made much more sense for God that chose Aaron. But you see, God chose Moses to go before Pharaoh and say, I want you to let my people go of the Egyptian bondage and slavery. He didn't choose Aaron. He could have. Aaron spoke with much more elegance. Aaron was much greater of a communicator. He was more effective. But yet God chose Moses. Why? Because God wasn't concerned with how he said it. He wasn't concerned that he stuttered, but he was concerned. He knew that Moses had a message inside of him. And you see, in God's eyes, that was more important. See, the elegancy in speech had nothing to do with Moses' effectiveness, how effective he was. Rather, it was the passion behind what he said. And can I challenge today that we have lost our passion behind our message? We no longer speak with passion about it. We just go through the routine and we no longer deliver a message with passion. We no longer believe truly in what we say. You see, we need to examine again. And according to Udemy.com, UDEMY, it says this, that the purpose of the message is to leave the audience with an understanding of how to proceed toward a life, to proceed toward following after the message which we say. And the purpose of us preaching is so people can believe what we say and follow after it. But how can they believe what we say if we don't even believe what we're saying? We need to rediscover our passion and the truth behind the message. We need to put an emphasis once again on the message because it is the key element of communication. And they are a message inside of us. See, we need to know our audience. We need to know who we're speaking to. We've forgotten who we're speaking to even. I took a Sims course one time called Communicating Effectively through the Church of God. And the book told us this, that it said that knowing your audience is key to being a proper communicator. You see, if I'm preaching towards a youth group and to a youth ministry or a youth crusade, I know I'm going to keep my message under 30 minutes. Why? Because I know that if I'm preaching to a bunch of young people, if I go more than 30 minutes, I'm losing them. And it's over. But when I go overseas and I preach in the Caribbean, I know to preach over an hour. Why? Because I know their customs. I know where I'm going, and that's how they do church, and that's their tradition. I know who I'm preaching to. You see, if I'm preaching towards a 70-year-old man that's been saved for 50 years, or if I'm preaching to someone that never knew Christ, my message is going to change. They never heard of him, compared to someone that knows. And we've all heard the message, sinners in the hands of the angry God. And you see, that message was preached in the 1700s. And it's in every American literature book, whether high school or college level, that you will find that sermon. You would think, and hear that, think, wow, Jonathan Edwards must have been such a great communicator. But can I tell you this? That according to the Jonathan Edwards Center at Yale University, which Jonathan Edwards attended, that he was a poor communicator. You see, Jonathan Edwards had a vision problem, and he actually held his paper like this right here. and he spoke in a monotone voice, such as this. But yet, we still read about a sermon to this day. Nearly 300 years have passed, and we still read about a sermon. Why? Because it wasn't about how he said it. There was something inside what he said. There was something with the message inside him that made a difference. And we need to rediscover the message inside us again. You see, God could have called Aaron instead of Moses. God could have called someone else in the place of Jonathan Edwards. And I look at my life, and I think, God, you could have called someone else besides me. Because I have flaws in my communication skills. I have weaknesses. But you see, God's not concerned about that. And you look at your life and you say, God, I see so many weaknesses. You can use somebody else so much greater. But see, God did not call Aaron to do Moses' job. God did not call someone else to do Jonathan Edwards' job. God did not call someone else to do my job, and he's not calling anybody else to do your job. See, because there's one thing that God is concerned about today, and we need to effectively let out, and that is the message that is inside us.